Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. The Dallas Cowboys season is over, almost. First off, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Boss's Ranch. Guys, go check them out. HEB Cold Produce section. Those of you who have holiday functions coming up, you'll be serving appetizers, maybe even having some pizza with the family. Perfect condiment to complement the occasion. Boss's Ranch. Love this product. Cowboys fans, Longhorns fans, these guys have a sensational product here. HEB Cold Produce. Go check them out. So, season's almost over. But I actually told y'all I think earlier in the season, the last time I had a real blow up that I made the comment we were dying a slow death and I already knew how this thing would end. It's just a question of whether it was going to end week 16, week 17, or, at some point in the playoffs. But we knew where this was going to go. And it boils down to a few things. The lack of heart on this team, because we'll get to the coaching and the lack of execution and all those things. We'll get to that. But the lack of heart, when you come out here in Philadelphia, season on the line, all the talk all week, divisional opponent, somebody you're allegedly fired up to play. You as a team you look disinterested. As a team you look like you're not even fazed by what's going on the other side of the football as the Eagles are hitting you in the mouth. The Eagles are finding guys that are making plays for each other, playing for each other. And there's no leadership on the Dallas Cowboys. We can say we like certain players on this team and guys that we like what they say and we hear them, but the result is in the product, and there's no leadership on this football team, and there's no leadership from the coaching staff. When you play an atrocious football game in all three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, you get beat. When you have bad coaching and bad quarterback play, you get beat. Period. Right? When you don't value field position and you consistently allow people to start the 40-yard line, the 50-yard line, when you don't value the kicking game, and at first, earlier in the season, we didn't value the field goal kicking game. Now, at the end of the season, we don't value punt game, kickoff, kick return, just the little things, the attention to detail. All not there. And that's why Jason Garrett will be relieved of his duties at the end of the season, because I said almost. Obviously the Eagles still have to go win in New York, and then whatever shell of a team we put on the field against Washington, we have to win as well. But this was, and even knowing where this team was, and I've been more pessimistic than I've been in a long time about my own football team. It still hurt. It still sucked. I hate Philly. I hate their team, and they're a bitter rival. But congratulations to them. You have to show respect and tip the hat. A lot of trash talk between our fan base and theirs all week, and they delivered with almost half of a practice squad unit, which is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the Cowboys, the amount of talent, alleged talent that we put out there, or misused talent, I should say, that we put out on the field week to week. And Philly's got guys all over the place fighting. Guys that were not on their 53-man roster at the beginning of the year. And it's embarrassing. And I'm struggling to find words right now, because even when it's going to happen, it still sucks to see it happen. And, I've defended a lot of guys on this team all year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Like, there's times where I felt like our offense was being let down by the defensive special teams. They can't get a pass from me today. And that starts with the quarterback. Dak Prescott was atrocious today. Period. And I understand he did not practice this week. I understand he has the shoulder issue. I understand you know, all the things he's battling and then the drops and all that. That's where the lack of leadership comes into play. And I'm not questioning, when I say leadership, I'm talking about leadership in terms of performance. Leadership in terms of, you see the way Carson Wentz comes out and starts the game immediately sharp. It's a big game. I want to set the tone that, you know, we got to move the football and we got to take advantage of the big play opportunities that we had. You see at the end of the game, the Tavon Austin play, you can't miss those opportunities. Those are missed opportunities. We have a throw right in the middle of the cover two to Amari Cooper. Missed opportunities. Throws down the field to Michael Gallup that are behind him that he's missed on all year and it has not been corrected. That is on him. I'm sure I'm sure John Kitna is trying to work on those things. That is on Dak Prescott. It's not good enough today, and you did not help your football team. In the biggest moment, no, I'm sorry. And look, people are going to say, well, the shoulder's messed up, Steve. You got to cut him some slack. No, if you decide to come out there and you can't make those type of throws, then you shouldn't be playing. But if you're going to play, then you warrant the blame. That's the way I was raised in football, period. If you're going to be out there and you did whatever you need to do to play, so be it. Same goes for Amari Cooper. There's no excuse. And we've been dealing with this back and forth thing, especially when we play outdoors, where 1 minute he can run, the next minute he can't fire it up or whatever. Well, again, that's mismanagement, that's misuse, and you just don't see the fight from Amari Cooper. You don't. You don't see, for him and Randall Cobb not to be on the field on a 4th and 8, 4th and season, and you're not even on the field for the fight, it's inexcusable. And this thing continues all the way across the board. The offensive line comes out, they immediately get their ass whooped in the run game. And the coordinator follows suit and tucks his tail between his legs the way he's calling plays. But beginning with the offensive line, they're supposed to be high priced. These guys are supposed to move people off the ball. They don't. Now they got into a little bit of a groove later in the game. But, key moments there, we don't get the push we need. We see guys getting blown back. We see guys that aren't able to make their blocks. Inexcusable. Going over to the coordinator, Kellen Moore, who I still believe Kellen Moore has a bright future in this league. This was the worst football game he's probably ever experienced as a player, coach, whatever. He was a disaster today, and he cost us dearly. Dak cost us. Everybody cost us. Kellen Moore was a big part of that. He was punished severely by the football gods. We're inside in the scoring area, and you decide to run speed option. The speed option nonsense that has not worked all season long. Self-scouting is important, guys. It hasn't worked all season long. You call speed option. By the way, it was 2nd and 2 before Zeke tapped out for whatever reason. It's always crazy when he always leaves in those moments, but whatever. He leaves. Tony Pollard gets the carry. He gets 1 yard. 3rd and 1. We go to the speed option to the short side of the field with the quarterback who hasn't practiced all week and has a bad shoulder, and we put him at risk. How many throws? What's our chart? So we had 44 pass attempts, 16 carries. I think we even had 2 sacks there. So 46 dropbacks to 16 carries in a 17-9 football game with a quarterback who did not practice all week. But you guys decided to go out there. Kellen Moore, you sucked today, period. And you sucked for, third of the season, really, when you think about the amount of games that he struggled to adjust or struggled to get his opening script together. He sucked, period. Again, still think he has a bright future, and I still think he will continue to develop as a coach. And there's a lot of good that he brought to our Jason Garrett, Scott Linehan-ish offense. But the times they get cute and they don't understand how to take advantage of matchup opportunities. The Eagles are platooning in their 4th and 5th corners. Sidney Jones is out there. Jalen Mills is going back and forth. Darby, all these guys, and they're letting every single guy off the hook. One moment we get off the jam really well and get a guy like a Tavon Austin open downfield, we blow the throw. Next moment, Michael Gallup's off the, and beautiful over-the-shoulder throw, he drops it. So, lack of execution by your best players. Jason Witten drops. But Blake Jarwin plays 10 plays a game. I don't get it. But that's why these guys will be relieved of their duties. And you know what? The Eagles may, in the long run, have done us a favor here. As much as it sucked today, because the Eagles aren't going anywhere either. They're a terrible football team. We're a terrible football team. And we saw terrible football today on this field. The only difference is the Eagles played with heart. They had heart and determination. And they have an excuse for being terrible because they have a lot of their best players that aren't playing. The only Cowboys excuse is that, they don't have heart and they have horrible coaches, and, nobody's going to, galvanize them to do whatever they need to do, even though they're supposedly professionals. And I'm not questioning people's physical toughness. That's not what I'm talking about. These guys are very, very tough. Jeff Heath was getting banged up today. Sean Lee fought through, I believe, with like 16 tackles. Jalen Smith had some good moments today. I know Cheeto got benched. I mean, just moving over to the defensive side of the ball, understanding the personnel that you're up against, and this again goes to Chris Richard and Rod Marinelli. Why are we playing so soft? And on these 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 5s, and you're just allowing pitch and catch to the tight ends. Like, I don't understand how you're not have the mindset of trying to smother them and make them uncomfortable and have Carson Wentz either be one read or he's got to scramble and make something happen. But when he's able to just get off that back foot, and yes, their tight ends are banged up, but your linebackers are playing so far off the ball. You're conceding everything underneath. You're conceding the flats to the running backs. You're conceding a lot of the stuff to the screen game. The scouting on this team is poor. Carson Wentz, if anybody that's watched him, I watched him all year long. He ducks all the time in the pocket. That's one of his go-to moves to get out of trouble. And Robert Quinn flat misses. That tells me you weren't watching tape this week, brother. Period. Didn't know your opponent. Because in that situation, you got to know that's coming in terms of a kind. I know it's quick, but there's certain tendencies, at least with the really good players, the really good teams notice that we don't. Those are things you got to pay attention to. And it's just, again, the lack of attention to detail on this football team with this organization has been very poor. Now, where do we go from here? Like I said before, the Eagles may have done us a favor because hopefully this is the end of the Jason Garrett era, and hopefully Jerry Jones being embarrassed and losing a division that you had a stranglehold over all season long and couldn't get it done. And you don't even have the excuse of like injuries and all that type of stuff, because every team has some. But, you just allowed a team to potentially win the division that's the most beat up team in the whole division. Jerry, you get what you deserve, period. What's the move now? You have to get a real football person in here. I don't know if he will or not, and that's kind of how we're always tortured as fans. But they got to go in a new direction, and it's just a fitting into the decade of Jason Garrett. It really, really is. So I wish I had more answers after this. But the problem is, any other team with the talent that we do have, I could at least say, all right, I know that they're going to make a sound move to try to get a better football coach, try to revamp some of the football personnel in there, and then let's make another run at it. With Jerry, you never know. Now, hopefully, maybe at the time of recording this video, he said something that sounds to me like he just kind of stormed out of the link. So I don't know. But you lost the fight today. You play with no heart, and the Eagles play with a ton of heart, and their fans in that city should be very, very proud of that football team. And we'll see if they secure the division against the Giants next week. But guys, I might be back later this week with more thoughts. It's really, really frustrating to see this happen, but not in the least bit surprised by the future performance of this football team. Anyway, happy holidays. Get your boss's ranch. Peace.